Yeah, he says he won. He says a lot of things that simply aren't true. Look, I think any person, Mika, who tuned into the debates Tuesday night, whether you are a Trump supporter, a Harris-Walz supporter, an undecided voter who tuned in to try to really understand what both candidates stand for, who they're fighting for, the choice was very clear. And also, who won that debate was also very clear. You saw the vice president taking a strong command on every single issue that matters to the American people, from expanding reproductive freedoms to making sure that the American people have, not only just the right to get ahead, but to stay ahead economically. Obviously, she talked about strengthening democracy and protecting democracy. So the things that matter the most to the American people, the things that matter the most to undecided voters who are deciding, still at this point who they're going to support, she made it very clear where she stands, that she's fighting for them. So I think, Donald Trump can continue to go out there and tell lies and say that he won this debate. But I think if you are the average person tuning in and watching what happened Tuesday night, it is very obvious who the vice president stands for, who she's fighting for, and that in turn means that she won that debate.
So if no more debates, because that was a real platform. I believe 70 million people tune in to watch that, and you get kind of an unvarnished look at each candidate without a lot of spin around it, just them on the stage alone. And we learned a lot in that debate, but they're not going to be anymore. So what's the strategy to get that same strong message and more, especially about reproductive freedom, to the swing states and to all the voters who matter so much in this election?
Well, you just played a clip of her in Greensboro, which she had, I think, well over 10,000 people at that rally. I mean, that's what she's doing. She's taking her message directly to the American people. She's traveling to battleground states. She's drawing big crowds, and she's making sure that every single people in that room, obviously local press is a big thing, a big focus of ours when we're traveling to states, that she's getting a lot of local press and that people understand who she's fighting for, what she stands for. The thing that I think is really important too, Mika, and we've talked about this on the show before, is when you see these big crowds at some of these events that she's doing, those crowds are then turning around. They're making small dollar donations to our campaign. You just announced that we raised $47 million from 600,000 donors in the 24 hours after the debate, which is a substantial amount of money. So those people are actually giving to the campaign, and they're also signing up for volunteerships. So when you're seeing those big crowds, those people are actually, going to work for the campaign. They're donating, they're signing up for shifts, they're phone banking, they're knocking on doors. And I think that when, we talk about the infrastructure that we have in these states that we've been investing in, for a long time, well before we had the VP as our candidate, back when it was President Biden who was the candidate. We've been investing in these states. We have over 250 offices in every single battleground state combined. We have, several hundred, 2,000 or so workers in those states. So we have the infrastructure that is there to support the volunteerism, the excitement, and that's what is going to matter, Mika, when it comes to a really close election, which this election will still be very close. You just showed a poll that demonstrated that the American people overwhelmingly believe that she won that debate. But we still know that this is going to be a very close race that is won on the margins in 7 battleground states. And so we have the infrastructure and the support there to channel this excitement and enthusiasm, but we still want to make it very clear it's going to be close.
Adrienne, good morning. It's good to see you. One of the things you hear, I'm sure you hear it as well, from swing voters, maybe from even Republican voters. We were talking about Nikki Haley supporters who want nothing to do with Donald Trump and are curious about Kamala Harris and whether they should go support her, is that they do have concerns about where she stands now versus where she stood previously in her career, particularly in 2019 during that 2020 race. What's the best way to explain the way that some of those positions have changed pretty dramatically for Vice President Harris? I know she says her values haven't changed, but what does that mean exactly when you talk about her support previously for decriminalizing illegal border crossings, her support for single-payer health care and getting rid of private health care insurance, and her support for the banning of fracking, none of which she says she supports anymore? What's the best way for a voter considering her right now to understand those changes?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked this question, Willie. I mean, I think she's made it very clear that, when you become a public servant, when you serve the American people, you oftentimes learn more about the issues. And when you learn more about the issues, oftentimes your positions evolve. You know, her position on fracking, for example, is the same position that she had during the 2020 campaign. But position, people evolve on positions. I think we can look back to where a lot of elected officials stood on marriage equality, for example, in the early 2000s and mid 2000s. A lot of elected officials were against that. And of course, that is unimaginable in the Democratic Party in particular these days to not stand for marriage equality. Of course, the vice president's always stood for it. But the bottom line is people evolve. Public servants evolve, and I think you want someone in office who's willing to take a hard look at the issues and be open-minded when it comes to where they stand. The more they learn about an issue, and by the way, the more that issue also evolves.
And so I guess the concern, Adrian, is that she's saying some of these things to get elected, and she'll go back to her previous positions if she becomes president. Is it safe to say she's going to stand pat where she is right now?
Absolutely safe to say that, Willie. No doubt. She made that very clear on the debate stage Tuesday night. She's evolved on some positions, but when it comes to where she stands on the issues that matter to the American people, her values remain the same. Those have been unchanged her entire career. When she was a prosecutor, when she was Attorney General of California, when she was United States Senator, and obviously as Vice President. She is the most prepared, most qualified to be the President of the United States, and she has made it very clear where her values stand. And I think if you are anyone who tuned into that debate, even if you were a Trump supporter, I think it's really hard to look at that debate and say, you know what, I don't know who she's fighting for, me or herself. It's very clear who she's fighting for, and that's the American people. She's putting their priorities first, and that came across very clearly on the debate stage on Tuesday night.
We have lots more to get to this hour. Morning Joe Weekend continues after a short break.
You were hired to be a maintenance manager, but everyone really knows you as a repair expert, a procurement specialist, and a problem solver. No matter what you're called, you know who to call to help keep your operation running. Grainger has over 1 million products, including the one you need now, plus the scale to deliver next day on most orders, so you can focus on delivering for the ones who count on you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ever worry that you're drinking too much? Take back control with Or Health. Or Health provides access to medication proven to make it easier to drink less or to quit drinking altogether. Qualify for treatment today at orhealth.com.
Sure, Vistaprint prints business cards, but we also print these and those and engrave that. We print your brand on everything so customers can notice you, remember you, and fall in love with you. If you need it, we print it with 25% off for new customers at Vistaprint.com.
Many probiotics don't survive digestion. That means whatever you're taking for your gut probably isn't getting where it needs to go. Seeds DSO1 Daily Synbiotic is the 2-in-1 prebiotic and probiotic engineered to survive, bringing live bacteria all the way down to the colon, or to healthy digestive, skin, heart, and immune system. Get started today with Seeds DSO1 Daily Synbiotic. Visit seed.com to order now.
I'm so happy. I just put this dress on that I haven't worn in over 10 years.
Why are women everywhere choosing Sonobello, the advanced solution for permanent fat removal?
I just this morning made a new hole in my belt, so that was super exciting.
I saw the results immediately. It's the best I have felt since I was in my 20s.
For a limited time, take advantage of Sonobello's best offer of the year.
It will change your life. It did for me.
Call now or go to sonobello.com.
Do you have a box of videotapes, film reels, or photos that are degrading?
Legacy Box professionally converts them to DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
Legacy Box is simple and safe, with over 1 million satisfied customers.
Visit legacybox.com.
I take caring for my kitty very seriously. When I found a health monitoring kitty litter, I had to meet the creator.
Oh, hi, kitten.
Please call me Martha. This litter seriously stops odors, and it changes colors.
Go to prettylitter.com.
Why do we accept waiting 2 weeks for payday? Thanks to Chime, I don't have to wait to get paid anymore. I couldn't believe it. I can get up to $500 of my pay on my schedule. There's no interest, no credit checks, no mandatory fees. Join me at Chime.com and get paid when you say.
We all know what it's like to worry, to not know where our dog is gone. Say goodbye to that with Tractive. Follow every step and find your dog in no time. Set virtual fences, monitor their activity, sleep, and get health alerts all in one easy-to-use app with unlimited range and support in over 150 countries. Tractive, the GPS tracker trusted by pet parents worldwide. Save 30% for a limited time.
The only thing I don't like about Payday is waiting for it. Chime lets you get up to $500 of your pay whenever you need it. There's no interest, no credit checks, no mandatory fees. I'm not waiting for Payday anymore, and you shouldn't either. Join me at Chime.com and get paid when you say.
I'm thinking Black Vegas, right here in Atlanta.
I see Atlanta as a black mecca. We build our houses and our businesses, and we become kings.
I was recruited to start this secret mission to dig up dirt on Joe and Hunter Biden.
This was a mission impossible, a mission stupid.
This is literally like a scene out of a spy movie. I mean, James Bond has nothing on us.
Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has a new book coming up, and Morning Joe has an exclusive first look at one key part of it. The book, entitled Something Lost, Something Gained, Reflections on Life, Love, and Liberty, goes on sale next Tuesday. Clinton was recording the audiobook when news broke that President Biden had dropped out of the race for the White House. So she decided to record her first reaction to that monumental shift in presidential politics as an epilogue to the audio version. Morning Joe has now an exclusive excerpt of that epilogue. Take a listen.
On July 21st, 2024, when Joe Biden announced he was dropping out of the presidential race and endorsing Kamala Harris, the dream of seeing a woman in the Oval Office was suddenly back within reach. It wouldn't be me, but it could be Kamala. History beckoned. But a whole lot of bigotry, fear, and disinformation, not to mention the Electoral College, stood in the way. Could we do it? Could we finally shatter that highest, hardest glass ceiling and prove that in America there is no limit to what is possible? When Bill and I heard the news that Biden was withdrawing and endorsing Kamala, we drafted a joint statement saluting him and also endorsing her. She is talented, experienced, and ready to be president, so it was an easy decision. After our statement went public, Kamala called us. She was remarkably calm for someone who had just been thrown into the deep end of a bottomless pool. She told us she wanted to earn the nomination. I'm going to need your help, she said. We'll do whatever you need, I told her. Bill and I were both ready to do everything we could to help get her elected. History is full of cautionary tales, but 2024 is not 2016. Trump's victory then and the ugliness of his presidency woke up a lot of people. There's less complacency now about the strength of our democracy and more consciousness of the threats posed by disinformation, demagoguery, and implicit bias. Some people have asked how I feel about the prospect of another woman poised to achieve the breakthrough I didn't. If I'm being honest, in the years after 2016, I also wondered how I would feel if another woman ever took the torch